Greetings, Sentinels fans! We now witness the return of the details in the art. So, let's get right to it, shall we? Let's start with something real simple. Let's fall into Legacy's Definitive Edition deck. Our All-American Hero has a distinctive and pretty consistent costume. In particular, I would like to pay attention to the arms. Simple enough, short sleeves and blue gloves. Well, let's go to Motivational Charge. Paul's front hand, his left, looks fine, but his right hand seems to have a long sleeve going into the glove. So it looks like he's wearing a short with one short sleeve and one long. Wraith is back there going, "What's up with your arm, Paul?" This is a fun one because it does feel like a mistake that a colorist might make that editorial wouldn't catch. Was it deliberate? Who knows? But knowing Adam, it probably was. For this next one, let's go back to Enhanced Edition for a spell. Gloomweaver's villain variant, Skinwalker, has a lot going on, especially in digital, which has all the text on the villain card, so I don't always see things. Saying this for plausibility's sake, I am a digital player, but Skinny Gloomy starts the game with his pouch of bones. So I think it's a very good touch that Gloomy is wearing the pouch on his front side there, in both versions of the card. But of course he's no longer wearing it on his Rotting God side. Speaking of text covering pictures, remember when I had this random person on Omnitron's card? Well, if we flip this card over, we see Haka pretty clearly on the front. And I never noticed until recently. How one misses a huge guy like that, I will never know. Moving on, Unity continues to be a lot of fun in most of the cards that she's in. And that even continues in Luminary's deck. On Brilliant Inventor, Ivan is showing one of his plans to Tachyon in Unity. Meredith is engaged, but maybe a little bit annoyed with Luminary. But Devra is completely checked out. You can tell they've been at this for hours too, as she's in pajamas. More specifically, she's in Mr. Chomp's pajamas. My question is, did she have them custom made? Or does the gift shop of the Freedom Tower recognize the immense merchandise quality of Mr. Chomp's? Maybe that is metaverse merchandise. Just saying, I want one. Let's go elsewhere in the Oblivion expansion for this next one. Let's go to the secret government facility at Fort Adamant, where many scary experiments are being conducted on powered people by Dr. Demikov, the most evil doctor to not have much to do in Sentinels. She took a bunch of minor villains and made them much more dangerous, because that sounds like an amazing idea. Thank you, fictional The Government. But we aren't talking about her evilness, but her style. Say what you like about her, but she has excellent taste in earrings. She's got little science beakers hanging from her ears. That's awesome. Great to see someone who loves their work. Okay, one more Enhanced Edition art, then we will return to Definitive Edition. This one was mentioned recently in the podcast, but I swear I wrote this one down before they mentioned it. GI Bunker is a World War II era bunker. And you can tell, because right behind our guy is a certain flag that's burning right behind him. The podcast ep did actually talk about this art a bit. There was apparently an early art where the swastika was more visible, but Greater Than Games wanted to distribute in Germany, and you may or may not know that Germany does not particularly like being reminded of that part of their history, and thus tends to censor the iconography of the party. So CNA preempted this reaction, and so this art now has to fire heavily covering the symbol. Let's go to Definitive Edition for this next one, and this time we are looking at an event cover. Ambuscade's critical event has him taking on the Prime Wardens with as little as possible, and I guess a shirt counts. On the cover of our comic, Ambuscade is jumping on Tempest and Fnatic with a spear in hand. But he also has Captain Cosmic's shirt in the other hand. Aren't Cosmic's clothes made of energy? Whatever. But even less noticeable are the fact that he is carrying Haka's Mere on his hip and is wearing Argent Adept's cloak around his neck. So all of the Prime Wardens have at least one piece of equipment on the screen. Is that what he's trying to do? Construct an outfit by knocking out the Prime Wardens and stealing their clothes? Now I'm wondering if he plans on stealing Tempest's outfit and Fnatic's armor. He probably could rock that plate mail. Moving on, let's discuss RevaCorp for a second. RevaCorp is a bit of a funny thing in Sentinels, as it is an evil organization that the heroes never seem to catch on to, no matter how many blindingly obvious evil things they do. Case in point, we have Terraform, arguably the biggest bad guy in the game. And I mean biggest by volume, not necessarily threat level. This thing is gargantuan. The robots from Pacific Rim are hurting their necks just looking up at it. The only issue here is that we don't exactly get a good feel for how big it is. all the images of it that we see don't really give good references for getting a good idea of their size. Probably the best one is the Terraform Mark II event, where it is shown to be taller than mountains. But there is also the Climb Along the Outside card, where, from this spot, we can see several buildings that are far below. Problem here is that all we know is that the bunker car is on a green part of the robot, which can be any part of the Mark II, or on the Mark I, maybe the thigh or the arm or the crotch or something. Now while we are on the topic of RevaCorp, let's hop to Setback's deck. Setback and Revenant have a storied history of getting in each other's way, so his presence on Wrong Time and Place is not that surprising. What is surprising to me is that Setback seems to have landed on a Revoker. First off, I didn't think that there was any indication that Revenant used minions in his heists. I kind of always assumed he worked alone with his fancy proto-benchmark suit. Second, the Revokers are the people running the Terraform, so a Revoker showing up with Revenant kinda connects Revenant to that. Now whether he was involved in the Terraform events or not ain't clear, but one would think the heroes might put Revenant a little higher up on their radar because of this association. Seriously, RevaCorp might be the worst kept secret to ever be successfully maintained. And for my final detail of the day, I will bring up one that was mentioned in a comment. This is Brute Watkins. I hate him. I hate his stupid suit and his off-center tie and his cocky attitude. There are characters in this game that I hate, but still really enjoy seeing them do their thing. This guy looks like he deserves a punch in the face, and I'm not particularly picky on who delivers it. None of that has anything to do with the detail, I just wanted to talk about that. Here though, it was noted that Watkins seems to have gotten his cigarette and his pen mixed up. He's holding his pen in between his fingers, like most people seem to hold their cigarettes, and his smoke is tucked behind his ear. Dude, fire hazard. Considering the kind of guy he is, he might be in danger of causing a grease fire. And if you think he's just using the pen, he's holding it point facing away on the side of the back of the hand, which does seem odd, even if you decide to hold your pen like that. It's possible that the switch-up might be an artistic error, whether by Adam or the Metaverse artists, but I doubt it, since if that were the case, we probably wouldn't see the smoke coming from the cigarette. No, I think Watkins is just being a doofus in-universe. Anyway, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Take care, friends. Problem here is that all we know is that GI Bunker, I was just, wrong section.